Okay, Scott, just dip it in the dish like that and pull it and see if you can make a nice big bubble.
Oh, neat.
Hey, there's a great one. Whoa.
Oh, look at the tube. Oh.
That was about 6 feet long.
Yeah, that's neat. Look at all the colors they make, too. Oh, there goes one.
Yeah, there.
Oh, neat.
Now, you know, you can do this at home yourself. You don't need to come over to my house to do it.
You can?
Yeah, all you need are the ingredients. And you see there on the jar where I keep it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll just copy these down. Is that all right?
Okay, fine, yes. 6 parts water. That means if you're using cups, you use 6 cups, or pints, 6 pints, or teaspoons, 6 teaspoons.
Okay, 6
Should be
parts
distilled
water
too, so it's nice and clean. See if there's minerals dissolved in the water where they could interfere with the soap film.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, then 1 part dishwashing soap. Any kind of modern detergents or soaps will work.
Soap?
Try to get those that don't have a nice smell, because that means there's extra ingredients in there too.
Okay.
And then 1 part glycerin.
Where can you get glycerin?
Well, you can get glycerin at almost any drugstore and in some hardware stores.
Okay.
And you mix it all together and then let it sit at least overnight, so you're sure they're all mixed together.
Okay.
Then what I have is a piece of wire. You want to take that one out?
Okay, sure.
Because see, here's a tray. And I've got it so that I can put all the solution into a tray, so that when you dip a wire hoop in like that, you can pull out a whole big
neat.
layer of soap film.
Oh.
And then, if you pull it slowly through the air, that's how you blow them. So come on, let's make a couple of more.
Okay. There just goes a little one. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, neat. Oh, there goes a big one.
Yeah, that's a nice one. Notice how they sort of wobble around until they finally settle down into a sphere? You know why they're round, by the way?
Because the air pressure inside's equal, so it makes it round.
And the air pressure on the outside pushing in also.
Yeah.
So they may not be round to start with, but they soon end up to be round.
Yeah.
And by the way, do you know you're blowing 3 bubbles in one?
3, but there's only one.
Well, now stop and think for a minute. When you make the soap film and you put it up like this, you really have a layer of soap film on the outside of the bubble, then a layer of water, and then a layer of soap on the inside.
Oh, so that'd make 3 bubbles.
It's sort of 3 in 1.
Yeah.
And you notice how you can see different colors as they float around? When you see a change from one color to the other, you're talking about fractions of the wavelength of light. So that's how thin those little soap films are. So you have to make sure everything is very clean.
Okay.
That's very important. Okay, let's try and see who can make the biggest.
Okay.
Or the most unusual.
Okay. Well, that one's pretty big.
When it gets a lot of soap, foamy stuff like that on the top,
Doesn't
that
work as
sometimes,
well.
yeah, that sometimes interferes with it. And by the way, you know why we're doing this outside?
Because it makes a mess on the
It sure
floor.
makes a mess, yes. And unless you're ready to clean up the kitchen floor,
there goes a
I
big one.
suggest you do it outside.
Oh, neat.
One.
Sorry about that. Oh, look at that one.
You may have seen this small insect skimming over the surface of a pond or stream. It's a water strider that can walk on water without even getting its feet wet, because, as you can see, it doesn't break the surface. You may have also seen them sending out circles of ripples on the water. This water strider is in the lab of Dr. Stimson Wilcox, who noticed that the males sent out ripples of a higher frequency than females. He investigated and concluded that the ripples are the water striders' way of telling each other, I'm male or I'm female. Do you like bananas?
Oh yeah, I really like bananas.
Well, here, have one. Let me get it started for you so it's easier to peel. Here.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, what's going on here?
Matter?
The banana's sliced.
Haven't you ever seen a sliced banana before?
Yeah, but how would you slice a banana without taking off the skin?
Kind of a trick, right? I fooled you. Slice the banana without cutting the skin. That's what it looks like, but I didn't really. In fact, this is how you can sort of play a trick on your friends. Because ordinarily, when you pick up a banana, you don't really pay too much attention to it, right? You know what a banana is, and you cut and you peel it and so forth. So that means that you're looking at it kind of like ordinary people do. If you look at it as a scientist might, he'd look at it very carefully, especially if he were a botanist who worked with bananas. He'd look at it very carefully. So here's how, using that idea that people just sort of take things for granted, here's how you can do it. What you do is you get a needle and thread, and you put the needle through the skin, and you go across over to the other side, about like that, and then pull it through, but not all the way, so you leave a little bit of the thread sticking out like that. Then go in exactly the same hole that you came out of and go across over to this side. Then pull that all the way like that. You get the idea? Now you finish the rest of it until you go all the way around the banana. But what will happen is the thread will be under the skin all the way around. Go ahead, finish it up.
Okay.
Try to come out the same hole each time. But don't pull it through, it's you leave. I'll hang on to the other end over here so you don't lose the other end.
Okay.
Good. Okay, what, 2 more about. And you'll be all the way around inside the banana skin. Watch your fingers. Okay, you're a little crooked, so go from that hole down over to here.
Okay.
You don't care if the slice is crooked, do you?
No.
All right. Good, right, okay, pull it all the way through. Now, you see, here, wait a minute. Now you have a loop all the way around inside the banana. Now take those 2 ends, go ahead, grab it with your hand, and now pull. Just slice through the banana, right?
Yep.
And notice that if you do this right before you give it to your mother or dad or whoever you're going to do it, they can hardly tell that there's any cut in it. You can see, if you let it sit for a while, you see that little black spot?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I went in with a needle. That's where I went in with a needle. That's where I went in with a needle. So you know if you'd open this, it would be sliced in 3 places, plus the one you sliced. But, Scott, do you like bananas?
Oh, yeah, I really like bananas.
Okay, have a banana.
You started here, you went down here,
Now, wait a minute, let's see where.
and then you went over to here,
Yeah.
and then to here, and then down to here, then to there, then there. Then you went around to here, and you went down to here, and then there, and then there, then there.
And then I pulled the string out.
Yeah.
So how was that banana sliced?
Lengthwise.
Lengthwise? You think so?
Yep.
See if you're right. You were right. A messy, lengthwise sliced banana. Yeah, very good. Now you really looked at a banana very carefully, like a botanist. Congratulations. Have a banana.
Oh, okay.
Come on, hero. Don't be so slow.
on, Hero. You really should learn to walk faster.
Were you having fun with Hero, Heather?
Yeah.
Well, while you were sort of having fun with him... Yes, I know you're ready. Just be quiet for a minute. I want to talk to Heather. You were having fun with him, but what you were doing was really quite serious. You see, this robot was designed to help people figure out how to work with robots.
Oh.
And eventually, when they help around the house or work in factories, they're going to have to move forward and not bump into objects or find out how far away something is when they reach their hand out. So what Hero did while you were walking, he sent out a very high-frequency sound, so high you couldn't hear it, and hit you in the leg right there.
I didn't feel it.
No, of course not, because it's real high frequency. You wouldn't feel it anyway if it were a sound. Then it went back in here, and its brain measured the amount of time that it took to go out there and back. If the time was too long, its brain told the wheels to move forward. If the time was too short, it made it move back. And that's how it was following you around.
Is there anything else it can do?
Well, it can talk.
Oh,
You want to hear it talk?
Sure.
Okay.
Ready?
Never heard a robot that could talk.
I think you are cute. Give me a hug. Robots need love too.
Did he say robots need love too?
That's right. Give me a hug. Right in front of you is one of the most deadly snakes in North America, an eastern diamondback rattlesnake. You can't spot it because it blends so well with its surroundings. If you had taken a couple of steps forward, you could have been bitten, because there it is, right there. How can you locate a snake if you can't see it? That's one of the problems facing a biologist who studies snakes, like Dr. Bruce Means of the Tall Timber Research Station in Florida. He's devised a unique method of locating a snake in the wild. First, he captures it and places it in a large can. Next, a measured amount of drug is added to the can to partially knock the snake out. Within a few minutes, the snake can be handled without fear of being bitten. It's a male about 5 feet long and weighs close to 7 pounds. It has a mouth that can expand wide enough to swallow a rabbit, so the tiny radio transmitter won't be much of a problem. It goes into the snake's mouth and eventually into its stomach. It will stay there for as long as 6 months, sending out a steady signal. The rattles next to the body are coated with paint so that when the snake is later captured, they'll know how many times it shed its skin and produced another rattle. The snake is placed in the grass and within a few minutes will be back to normal. Using an antenna that picks up the signals from the radio inside the snake, Dr. Means can hear the beeping that helps him find the snake in the brush, follow its movements, and study its habits. So the diamond pattern on its back no longer helps hide the deadly rattlesnake. Even though you can't see it, you know it's there because now it's sending out radio signals.
It really looks like these rulers are going up.
They ought to be. Look what I've got under the ends.
Oh yeah, you got one book over on that and two over here.
Right, so definitely this is one whole book higher.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever heard of anything that can roll uphill?
Well, no, it can't because things roll downhill.
Everything except this. That's the low end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watch. That's the high end. Just rolled uphill.
Well, how did it do that?
First of all, let's make sure that it's really rolling uphill or downhill. There's a pen down there and a piece of cardboard. You take a measurement. Go around over there and measure how high it is at that point, right, the center of the funnel.
Okay.
Or any place. Measure it any place. Where are you putting it?
I'm putting it right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's supposed to be the low end. Okay, now let's bring it up here to the high end. And what happened?
It went lower.
Yeah, so the funnels are really going downhill, aren't they?
Well, yeah, how did it do that?
Well, the rulers are going uphill. Well, come on around here, Paul. I'll show you. When you start up here, the two rulers are very close to the center of the two funnels that I have taped together. Now watch what happens. Where's the funnel rolling?
Oh, these sides are going up.
Yeah. the funnels are really rolling downhill because they're rolling this way, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's why the rulers are wider apart up here. So this still fits that old axiom, all things roll downhill, even though it looks like it's rolling uphill because of the shape of the funnels. Don't touch the top of the desk.
Okay.
I'm going to put this piece of wire on the knife like this. I want you to keep it like that. Just keep the feet barely touching the desk. And now do not let the wire walk off the end of the knife. It's going. Stop it.
I can't help it.
Don't. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Doesn't that seem strange? You should be able to hold your hand still enough to keep that thing. Well, I'll explain that in a minute. Here's another little puzzle for you. Hold out your hand. I'm going to put this toothpick between your fingers and hold it just like that and break it. Pretty easy, right? Okay, do the same thing. This time, reverse it.
Like that?
Like that. Right out to the end of your fingers. Now go ahead. Now break it.
It's a lot harder.
A lot harder. Why should it be so much harder to do it when you can do it one way easily? It's because, Michael, a lot of your muscles work in pairs. The strong muscle, there's usually a stronger muscle and a weaker one. Which do you do? Do you open your hand more often or close it? In other words, to grip something. Obviously, you use it like this. Okay, so that means that the muscles back in here in your fingers that make your fingers bend like this are very strong. And when you did it the first time, you were using the strength of the muscle on that finger right there to push. Okay, now, when you reverse it, you're going to pull back with that muscle. And it's not nearly as strong, right?
It's a lot harder.
Yeah, a lot harder. So those muscles working in pairs are also constantly making adjustments, especially if you hold your hand out and want to hold it still. You know about the muscle pairs in your arm? Pull against my hand. What's that one?
Those
What's
are my
that?
biceps.
Biceps. When you pull up like that, you're using the biceps. Now push against my hand. Remember, what's that one called?
Triceps.
And that's tight now, right? And that one's loose. So when you try to hold your hand nice and steady, those two muscles are constantly making little adjustments. In fact, there's some diseases in which, of the muscles and the nerves in which it's hard for people to hold their hands still because the muscles are constantly making adjustments and they overcorrect all the time, so their hands shake. Okay, but that's why you can't hold this is a piece of a coat hanger, which you can cut off to make just longer than the knife. Now, when I tell you to hold everything real still, what's happening to your muscles?
It's trying to steady it more, so it's going up and down.
You're right. As you go up and down, there's little points on the end of the wire, so they get stuck on the table, so it can't go backwards, so it can only go forward. First it grabs on here, and then it grabs up here, back and forth. Michael, stop it from going off the end of the knife. So we got to, in fact, the harder you try, the more your muscles are going to make corrections, and the faster it will go off the end of the knife. Look. This is the beginning of a wing bee. It starts with the male. In those envelopes are bird wings sent to U.S. Fish and Wildlife scientists who open the envelopes in what they call their wing bee. You see, during the hunting season, sportsmen all across the country gather the wings of the birds they've killed. The scientists record the species, age, and location of each bird. The survey gives wildlife managers a picture of the year's waterfowl harvest so they can realistically plan for the next hunting season. After the wing bee, the feathers are turned over to chemists who analyze the feathers for minute traces of toxic chemicals to produce a survey of pollutants ingested by the birds. An unusual form of wildlife research, the wing bee. Here's my challenge for you. I want you to pick up that bottle using only the soda straw without touching the outside of the bottle.
Okay.
I'd also not like you to roll the bottle on the floor and break it, please.
Okay. Well, I can't do that.
Okay, you will be able to do that before you leave, but first I will give you a clue. here is a piece of paper. I want you to support this book above the table using this piece of paper.
Just this piece of paper?
Yes.
Well, I don't think you can do it because it's so thin and
Yes,
everything.
it's very flimsy and thin, right?
Yeah.
However, I will give you perhaps just the beginning of a suggestion.
Oh, I get it.
Okay. Now, what are you going to do?
I'm going to roll it up.
Into what form?
A tube.
Right. Okay, here's a rubber band. One heavy book coming up.
Okay.
There you go. Now, what made that flimsy piece of paper so much stronger
Well,
when you rolled it into a
when
tube?
it's a tube, you can push it this way and it won't
Right.
break, and you can pull it.
Right.
But if you bend it like that, it'll break.
In fact, this is a very important engineering form. In fact, haven't you noticed the legs of tables and chairs when they're made out of metal or something? They're
Yeah.
usually tubes because the tube is very strong when you push on it like this or when you pull on it, but not when you go like that.
Yeah.
Back to your original challenge.
Okay, I got one little idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna hold it like
Oh, I see.
that.
I'm going to try to balance it on it.
Yeah.
Using the idea that you can push on the straw and it's fairly strong.
Except for it's not strong enough.
Not strong enough. Okay, well, here's what you do. You bend the end of the straw, and you know you can bend it quite easily, right?
Yeah.
Wider than the mouth of the bottle. Now, here, feel of this. Put your fingers right here and squeeze.
That's strong.
Yeah, that's strong. So what you do then is you put this into the bottle like that, and now go down and wait till it opens up. And then you catch it against the side of the bottle. You go ahead, try it.
Okay.
You get the idea?
Yeah.
Put it, all right. Right about the whip. There you go, just like that. Now, why were you able to pick up the bottle with the straw?
Because I was using like pushing,
Pushing,
so it holds it, and pulling,
And
so I
pulling.
can lift it.
right. Very good.